Welcome to the Dark Entry, where we delve into the depths of darkness that dwells within the human imagination and brings stories to life. Whether it be fairy tales or horror stories, there is guaranteed something for everyone here at the Dark Entry. Also, if this is the kind of thing that you enjoy, and if you're brave enough to join us, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, and turn on all notifications as to never miss another journey through the Dark Entry. Tonight, I invite you to join me on a harrowing journey as we unravel the enigmatic tale of I Had One Job, Don't Open the Door, Part 1. Masterfully crafted by the talented Reddit user CornerCornea. In this bone-chilling story, we meet an individual whose life takes a sinister turn after responding to a seemingly harmless house-sitting advertisement online. Little do they know that beneath the surface of this inviting facade lies a web of darkness and deceit. As our protagonist steps through the threshold and the boundaries of reality blur, their descent into madness begins. So, gather close, settle in, sit back, relax, brace yourself, and let us embark on this unforgettable expedition into the heart of darkness. But be warned, once you open that door, there's no turning back. And, as always, the link to this spine-chilling tale can be found in the description below. So, go over and give this author the love that they deserve. So with that, let us begin tonight's story. I had one job. Don't open the door. Roger was a no-frills type of guy. He was of good posture, stern, and his clothes were crisp down to the French cuffs on his sleeves. His tone was soft and his words direct but polite. I'd known him all but a few seconds before I decided that I could trust this man with my life, which is why I took everything he said quite seriously. I had found the gig online and was posting for someone to house sit. I surmised that Roger was likely some kind of property manager or something, and was short-staffed, which is why he had to use a third-party app to fulfill his needs, even if he weren't used to seeking help. Because although he seemed relaxed, a part of me felt as if he was reluctant to let go of the reins easily, which made me think that he was either incredibly passionate about his job or really responsible, both of which I found to be extremely positive qualities. That concludes the house tour. Now, he clapped his hands together. The fridge, the kitchen, the pantry, the living room, bathrooms, even any of the bedrooms is yours to use. Consume, sleep, relax. It's up to you. But there's one rule that I insist be followed. Yeah, sure, I nodded. Until I get back, do not open the door. What? I regretted the words instantly as they left my lips. Yeah, okay, yeah. He didn't say another word, only stared at me. No, I get it. I promise I won't open the door until you get back. I like you, kid. The algorithm thinks you're the fit for the job, which I tend to trust these things. So, let's be clear here. Do not open the door. It doesn't matter what happens. Don't let anyone inside. Yeah, of course. No, I get it. Some people like to limit their personal spaces. I once went to a friend's house. It was a model home at first, the kind that all prospective buyers tour, right? And my friend's parents never got over the walls. They always complained that the people that walked in and out of them touched them, seeped their dead skin cells into the walls or something. They even painted over it quite a few times, if I remember correctly, but still they said it wasn't quite the same, that it wasn't right. So yeah, I completely understand personal space and everything. I respect that. Roger let out a content-filled sigh and then smiled easily. You're gonna do great. He looked at his watch. never seen a nicer one, to be honest. Okay, I got another engagement, so lock the door behind me and I'll be back. Then without another word, he left. Don't open the doors, I repeated after him. Got it. The house was a good size. I've house sat a few times with others before, mainly to feed their dog or some exotic fish, and although there wasn't much furniture in this one, it felt classy. Timeless almost. I walked around to check that all the windows were secured. The sliding door leading to the backyard was closed. The door from the kitchen, which led into the garage, was locked before I sat down in the front room and turned on the TV. I was in the middle of watching a rerun of Campfire Tales when I heard my first knock. I turned off the TV and waited, hoping whoever it was would go away. Hello? They knocked again. Do you have a moment for Jesus Christ? Crap, I muttered. Getting off the couch, I walked over to the door and leaned in. Yes, I cleared my throat. Hello? Hi, we're from the local church, and we were wondering if you have accepted Jesus into your life. No, sorry, I'm not religious, I lied. If you'd like, we can give you some pamphlets for some light reading. He pulled on the handle. They helped me a lot some time back, and maybe they can be some use for you too. A second voice came next. A lot of people have told us that they have been useful for them, not knowing when they needed it the most. If you could... Sorry, I'm not interested, but thank you. There was a pause. Sure, we get it. But do you mind if we leave these pamphlets on the door for another member of the household, perhaps? You can grab them whenever you'd like. Yeah, no, that's fine. Thanks. I could hear the paper scraping against the door and saw the handle jiggle slightly before the first voice spoke again. Thanks for your time today. I waited for the sound of their footsteps to disappear before I decided to breathe. I then looked through the peephole to make sure they were gone. My hand instinctively reached for the handle to grab the pamphlets, as I didn't want the house to look untidy from the outside. I had no sooner touched the doorknob before I remembered what Roger said. But no one's here, I said aloud. Still, I'd be breaking the rule. I couldn't help but smile. Well, when did you get to be such a stickler for rules, I said to myself, feeling rather proud as I returned to the couch and clicked through a few movie titles on stream before settling in on an old classic. I don't know how far I got into the movie before I heard another knock at the door. What are the chances, I thought. What a busy house. I turned off the TV and waited, hoping they would go away. Hello? A voice came from outside. Pizza delivery? My stomach growled. I looked up at the clock. It was past noon. The only problem was I didn't order any pizza. Hello? Pizza delivery? They knocked again. I've got a double pepperoni and a pineapple pizza. For, Roger? I got up from the couch again. Roger didn't tell me that this gig included lunch. Hold on just a minute, I shouted. I'm coming. I looked through the peephole as I reached for the door handle, but something wasn't right. I could feel it. Was this a test? Had Roger called the local pizzeria to make sure I wasn't breaking his one simple rule? If I did, would that mean I wouldn't get paid? I looked through the peephole again. It was a young guy, younger than me, but looked old enough to drive. He wore a dark blue polo and had curled collars on the edges, and was holding up a red insulated bag. I didn't order any pizza. I could see the kid sigh before looking at the receipt. Is this 226? Yeah. Well, I got pizza here for you. For Roger? Yeah, for Roger. Well, I'm not Roger. But this is 226. It is. Look, the pizza's already been paid for. If you don't want to tip me, that's fine. I just have to get to my next delivery. He waited, and I didn't budge. I'm gonna leave it here, he directed toward a half pillar on the porch, shaking his head as he grabbed 2 boxes and set them down before zipping up his delivery pouch. Cheap ass, he muttered. I felt my stomach growl again as I watched him walk away. Now, I failed to mention this earlier, but the peephole oversaw the entire driveway and most of the sidewalk. So when the guy walked out of sight, he was a good house down before I could no longer see him. The thing is, I never saw his delivery vehicle either. I looked at the pizza sitting on the half pillar. A few cheap paper plates were stacked on top, and I could see the packets of Parmesan being warmed up. I took a deep breath in hopes to stave off my urges, but that only made it worse as the smell permeated through the door. It was pizza, all right. I would bet my life on that one, but still, I didn't open the door. Instead, I got back on the couch and turned down the volume on the TV. In fact, I got about 3 volume before I decided to mute the thing outright and began to watch my movie in complete silence. Some time passes, and I ate some burritos I found in the freezer. I was mid-bite into this double-stuffed cheese burrito when the sound of 2 kids outside the door could be heard. "No, you knock." "No, come on, you do it." "It's your ball." "Fine." And this kid knocked on the door. "Hello?" he shouted loudly. "I'm sorry for disturbing you, but our ball went over your fence. Do you think you can get it for us?" I didn't move a muscle. Another knock came. "Hello?" Maybe they would go away. "Hello?" He knocked again. "We can hear you, you know. We can hear you chewing." I swallowed my last bite roughly and wiped my hands on my jeans. I leaned into the peephole to see 2 kids about 7 or 8 standing outside. They had on shorts and t-shirts and looked a little muddy. The other kid's voice rang through as I approached. "Come on, please. We just want our ball back." "I'm sorry, but I can't help you right now. I'm busy. Will you come back later?" "Please," the first kid begged. "Can you help us? My dad's about to come home, and he's going to be so mad if I told him I lost another ball." I looked into the peephole again, and I saw the kid look nervous, scared even. He was wringing his hands. "Nah, crap," I muttered under my breath. "Okay, hold on, let me go take a look." Then I walked toward them back and glanced around the yard. Sure enough, a bright red ball with a yellow star on it sat in the grass near the fence. I grabbed the handle before debating with myself. It's technically a door, right? Sliding door. I played with the words in my mouth. It's right in the name. It's a sliding door, I chuckled. It's like asking if water's wet, but still the sound of the kid worrying rang in my ear, and I didn't want him to get in trouble. I had my hand on the door when I noticed a football laying on its side nearby. I walked halfway between the sliding door and the front door and shouted, "Which ball is yours?" "What?" I shouted through the door. "What kind of ball do you have?" There was a pause. "A basketball," the second kid said. I went back to the sliding door and scanned the grass before going back. "Sorry, kids. I can't help you out. There's no basketball back there." "No, doofus," the first kid whispered. "It's a soccer ball," he yelled. I shook my head. "No soccer balls either." "Please, could you just open the door and let us take a look? Maybe you missed it." I'd be lying if I didn't think about it, but no, I'm sorry, I can't help you right now. Maybe if you come back later. "No, you don't understand," the first kid cried. "I need that ball. My dad's gonna be so mad at me." "Yeah," the second kid chimed in. "Please, could you just let us take a look?" "No," I said firmly. "I'm sorry." One of the kids kicked the door before I heard them running away. I breathed a sigh of relief and unclenched my fists. I didn't even know I was tense until just now. It's just a door, I said as I returned to the couch. It's just a silly rule, but I turned off the TV and sat there in silence, too afraid to make a sound, too afraid to even finish my burrito. I didn't have to wait long before I got off the couch again. At first, it was 2 shots in the air, then 3 more in succession. I could hear a car alarm go off somewhere in the neighborhood, but the sound of a gun going off seemed unusual, as this was a rather nice area. Someone screamed in the distance. It sounded like it was coming from across the street. I bolted upright and rushed to the door, peering through the eye-hole. There was a woman barging out of her door, her dress clumped in one hand so she could run, and blood dripping down the side of her face. She looked terrified as she crossed the street barefoot, up the driveway, toward the porch, and slammed her fist into the door. "Help me, please, help me!" she screamed. "I need help. Please call 911. She banged on the door again. "My husband's trying to kill me." I could see the fear in her eyes as she kept looking back at her house. The door shook again. Help me, please, open the door, open the door." I don't know when my hand left my side, but when I looked down, they were gripping the handle so hard my knuckles were white. "Please, he's coming." But I waited. "Someone," she banged on the door, "help!" And waited, but no one came out of her house. The two of us stood there. The woman's frantic knocking ebbed as the minutes passed. It was 2 minutes now, 5 perhaps? I'm not sure, but eventually she stopped banging on the door. I looked into the peephole and saw her chin had dropped through her head. She was smiling. I tried to look away, but she moved closer, slowly, but closer toward the door until her eyes were staring directly into the peephole. "I see you." I nearly fell over backwards as the door suddenly began to shake. The thing looked like it was going to buck right off the frame. I crawled backwards on my hands and feet until my back hit the side of the couch. "Open the door!" I shook my head, too terrified to move, and waited until the knocking stopped. The sun was still out when the woman first came. It was now barely visible through the windows. Dusk had settled on the house and all of the lights were out, even the TV. I was still on the floor hugging my knees when a knock came at the door. It was softer and quiet, dignified even. "Hello?" It was Roger's voice. "Hey, I'm back." I was so glad to hear him that I immediately rushed through the door. He knocked again just before I could reach the handle. "Could you open the door?" The words froze me in my steps. "Roger?" "Yeah, it's me. Let me in." "Roger." I looked through the peephole, and sure enough, it looked like Roger. "Hey, come on. Could you let me in? It's cold outside." "Don't you have the key?" He reached into his pockets and then shook his head. "Nope, I must have left them in the office." Then he looked at me and flashed an award-winning smile. "Hey, you didn't take what I said that seriously, did you?" Before turning around and noticed the pizza boxes tilted on the half pillar. "Wow, I guess you did," he smirked. "We're definitely going to have to use you again soon." He picked up the boxes and palmed the door handle. "Now, could you please open the door?" I shook my head. "No, you explicitly told me not to open the door." "Yeah," he told me, "and you did a great job. Might have took it too literally, but I appreciate that sort of thing. But come on, hey, it's me. Let me in. Open the door." "Why don't you have the key?" He shrugged. "I don't know. It was busy today. I must have forgotten them." He reached around his pants before pulling out a set from his breast pocket. "Oh, look, I thought I had them, but these are the wrong ones." He waited. "Now come on, open the door." I shook my head and backed away. "Open the door." The frame shook. "Look, I'm not playing around anymore. Open the door before I call the cops and have you arrested for trespassing. Your gig's over now. Go home." "No," I told him. "Open the freaking door, man." He was yelling so loudly it made the door rattle. Then the entire house started shaking. I squatted on the floor and covered my ears, my teeth shivering in my mouth as I prayed that he would just go away. I was so scared that I was even too afraid to cry. But eventually the shaking stopped and the house was quiet again. I sat there for nearly an hour before I forced myself to sit back on the couch, where I once again heard the door handle jiggle, the sound of metal in the lock before it turned and clicked open. Roger walked through the door, looking as calm and as pristine as ever. He had an award-winning smile as he looked at me. "Hey, you made it," he beamed, pulling out a stack of money from his pocket. "I knew you would," and handed me $800. "We're going to have to use you again the next time." As we conclude this chilling tale, I bid you farewell from the dark entry. I hope that tonight's story into the realm of shadows and suspense has left you exhilarated and perhaps a little bit unsettled. Remember, the dark entry is always here to bring you more captivating stories where the ordinary becomes extraordinary and the mundane intertwines with the supernatural. If you have enjoyed this spine-tingling experience, I ask you for your support by liking this video and sharing it with other fellow enthusiasts of the macabre. Your support fuels my passion to bring you more tales of darkness and intrigue. I also appreciate your continued presence in this eerie world as we have crafted, and I encourage you to explore the depths of our channel for more terrifying stories that is guaranteed to haunt your dreams. Remember, the darkness holds many secrets, and we are here to uncover them together. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and until next time, may your nights be filled with both thrilling and peaceful slumber. Good night, sleep tight, and I will keep the light on for you, and the tales coming.